Baptist Church here at Bluegrass Pike for about 6 years. And it's just been a real blessing to be here today and to be able to, again, share my testimony with folks. And my early childhood was kind of rough. I got off to a real rocky start with my parents were both alcoholics. And I had a really tough time to start with, but I never really took that as a disadvantage. And in spite of all that, my dad took me to church when I was a young man. And I don't remember a day of his life that he didn't put on a white shirt and a tie. And he made sure that I went to church. And I heard the gospel many times as I was growing up as a young man, but I never really took it to heart. And but I did know for sure that there was a place called hell, and I didn't want to go there.
Amen.
As time went on, I ended up joining the Army and ended up going off to be a big proud Army officer and a pilot. I was a helicopter pilot in the Army for a lot of years. And one day my next door neighbor came over. I was 27 years old at the time. And he came over, he and his wife knocked on the door and said, why don't you go to church with us? I thought, well, that'd be a good idea. I kind of really would like to get back to church. I went to church and I heard they had two old men, white-haired men, look much like I do today, I guess. They were preaching to me, and they preached to me, and they preached pretty hard. A little church outside the gate around Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And they preached to me and they told me about Jesus Christ, the fact that he died on the cross for me personally.
Amen.
And after about 6 months of listening to this preaching and going through conviction day in and day out, and fighting with the pew in front of me for several days, I knew one day I was going to get saved. And that day came, and I walked into the church that morning. I don't remember anything that was preached, but I do remember hanging onto that pew with all my strength. I couldn't wait for the preaching to be over so I could run down there and tell somebody, please, Lord, save my soul.
Amen.
I did. I reached out and called on him, and he saved me. And the fact that he did that, it gave me a whole lot of peace in my heart. It put me, like most people would say, it made me feel like I was walking in the clouds for a long period of time. But as things changed and my life took several turns and a lot of trials came up, and I kind of fell away in my faith. I didn't really grow a whole lot. Praise the Lord. About 8 years ago, a good friend here in the church here came over and put my cabinets in my house in Harrisburg and told me about a church. I visited about every church in the area, I thought. I never did find one that really sounded like they were ministering to my soul and to wake up that spirit that had long been in there, but never really had the opportunity to come out. But I knew the Lord was in there, and I said, yeah, okay. A little bit of pessimism, but I went over there finally 2 years later, and that was 6 years ago, and the Lord opened my heart again, and he told me, he said, this is where you need to be. And I've been here for 6 years, and I love this church. I love the church people, the family. I love the ministries we've got. We've got so many opportunities here, and the Lord just really blessed my life. And I know that if you'll just trust him, he'll help you with your life too. He'll give you everything you need to walk this place during dark times and good times, both. And there's nothing worse than seeing somebody you know that you love that's dying or sick and know that their end is coming near and they don't know him personally. So if you don't know him, please find you a good church, listen to some good hard preaching, get that old heart softened up and trust Jesus Christ. He's the only way.